welcome to another episode of Strolling with SK. It's just a short one of Two Tales by the Creek from Wootton Creek on the Isle of Wight. Tragedy in Wootton Creek. Story 1. Friday the 10th of May 1946. An inquest was held on Wednesday the 22nd of May into the sailing accident in which Dennis Hatcher, aged 17 years, lost his life in Wootton Creek. His father told the inquest that his son left the house around 6 p.m. to go sailing with friends from Wootton Youth Club. Around 11 p.m. he was advised that his son was missing as a result of a boating accident in Wootton Creek. He said that his son owned a small sailing boat but did not have a lot of sailing experience and could not swim. Jean White of Wootton High Street, a fellow member of the youth club, said that she, Margaret Cooper, and one other went sailing with the deceased around 7:30 p.m. in an open 10-foot dinghy. They rowed out to the buoy and then hoisted sails and proceeded down the creek towards the sea. Near the Lisle Court, a sudden gust of wind capsized the boat. When she came to the surface, there was no sign of Dennis Hatcher. She and the other two were rescued by another boat. One of the leaders of the youth club then gave evidence and said that the club had permission from a lady to use 3 of her dinghies. In his opinion, the boats were safe and had been used many times before. In reply to the deceased father, he said that he did not think that the boat was overloaded with 4 people in, and in fact it provided more weight and improved stability. He had spoken to his son before he took the boat out and was assured by him that he had sufficient experience to sail the boat. It was also assumed that all people using boats on the creek could swim. Other witnesses said that he had sailed small boats on the creek for the last 6 years and he could never be sure what the wind would do due to the high ground on either side of the creek. The police said that a search was made, and as soon as the alarm was raised and continued until light failed at low tide on Saturday and Sunday, the creek was dragged but nothing was found. The following Tuesday the body was recovered from the sea near Ranelagh Works. In recording a verdict of death by misadventure, the coroner said he was satisfied that the boat was a proper one and was used on the creek, but questioned allowing 4 people in the boat. He was an experienced sailor himself, and he thought that what had happened was a dinghy jibed and the deceased at the helm was taken by surprise and failed to loosen the sail, causing the boat to capsize. Footnote: the 3 rescued girls were taken to Lisle Court, given hot baths and brandy, then taken home by the police. Source of this is the Isle of Wight County Press. Footnote supplied by Margaret McCall, Nee Cooper. Tales from the Creek, Story 2. 2 soldiers drowned at Wootton. They drowned on Sunday, the 5th of May 1946. An inquest was held at Newport on Tuesday the 7th into the death of the drowning of 2 soldiers who were stationed on the Mulberry Harbour Pier head moored off of Wootton Creek. The inquest was told that it was assumed that the soldiers lost their lives whilst making their way back to the pier head in the early hours of Sunday morning by what was described as unauthorised methods. The coroner, together with a jury consisting of various people including a police officer and a captain from the Isle of Wight garrison, then took evidence. The body had been washed up on the beach at Woodside, which we will be visiting in a minute on this walk. On Sunday morning, Dr. Kennedy confirmed death was due to drowning and estimated the time of death to be the early hours of Sunday morning. Sergeant Wilson, Royal Engineers, stated that the men were on authorised leave from 5:30 p.m. Saturday evening until 10 a.m. Sunday morning. Transport normally provided from the pier head to the shore and back again at set times by military transport. On certain occasions, Saturday being one, there was no transport available and men on leave had to either wait until 10 a.m. the following morning or make their way back. The collapsible boat which had been found at Woodside should have been moored at the pier head. and he was unable to say how the boat had got onto the beach. He then explained that it was dangerous for two people to use the boat in choppy seas that was running that evening. The weight of 6 people was needed to keep the boat stable. So he also said that the 2 men were aware that there would be no return transport to the pierhead that evening. Sapper Hill, who went ashore with the 2 deceased, said they spent most of the evening in the public house in Ryde playing darts. Around 10 p.m. he left the 2 men who said they were going dancing. At the time, both appeared to be quite sober. The coroner then asked how much they had drunk. 5-6 pints was the response, which was quite normal for them. He personally made his way back to the beach at Fishbourne and had to wait about 4 hours for ship transport. The coroner then questioned Hill as to the procedure of if there was no transport. The response was, "It's easy to get lodgings for the night or borrow a boat." When pressed how to borrow a boat at 4 a.m, the reply was, "Take the boat and put it back later." When pressed by the coroner, Sapper Hill admitted he had previously used one of the collapsible boats to get back to the pierhead and admitted it was a dangerous thing to do. With a north-east wind blowing and a choppy sea, the risk would increase. Police said that the extensive inquiries in the Ryde area had failed to trace a deceased movement after 10 p.m. on a Saturday night. After making inquiries in the Wootton area, it had been found that dinghies were taken without people's authority. An 11-foot 6-inch dinghy was missing since Saturday evening. On the night in question, there had been a strong north-east wind, which would have been blowing straight up the creek, making things difficult until rounding the headland, where there was even stronger winds undercurrent. Major Lease, officer in charge of the pierhead, said there were 3 sergeants stationed there, and leave for the men was at their discretion, subject to the requirement of 66% manning at all time. The coroner then questioned the major and asked why arrangements were not in place to ensure the soldiers on shore leave got back safely. The major's response was that he agreed with the coroner, but so far his superiors had not authorised his request. The major said that the men on shore leave were discouraged from making their own way back, even though they were experienced watermen. The coroner then addressed the jury and said that the cause of death was due to drowning. It was impossible to say if the men were in the collapsible boat or the missing dinghy. Either case, it would have been dangerous to be out on a Saturday night in a small boat. The jury returned a verdict of accidental death, adding the rider that better facilities should be provided for men returning from shore leave, enabling them to return at reasonable hours. The bodies were then taken home to North of England for burial. The source of this is from the Isle of Wight County Press. And there you go, 2 stories from the creek. Thank you muchly for sticking with me, and I'll see what other stories I can find of the island and everything. So thank you muchly for strolling along with me, and I'll see you next episode. Keep strolling. And one last thing, please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment if you know of anything of these stories at all, or if there's any other stories on the island you may wish me to try and find out some history on. So just leave a comment, like, and support the channel, will help push us a bit more. We're getting there, we're getting to the 300 now, but we're obviously trying to push for the 500, but let's go for the 300, let's give it a good push. So once again, thank you muchly for watching, and keep strolling.